Hello, friends and followers of the Triple S Sneeze, Stitch, and Shopify challenge. My name is Tom. I'm the co-founder of both Sneeze and Stitch leggings. I'm not the co-founder of Shopify, though maybe I will be in the future. Not sure how that works. Anyway, welcome to the fourth installment. It's the 19th of April. As I've said before, I'm releasing a new update on the journey every Wednesday. And in this video, we're going to be talking about something that I haven't covered before, but is probably one of the most requested topics in the Shopify growth e-commerce world. Something that's worked okay for us in the past. It's a customer acquisition technique, and that we've just sort of started again in April. And so that topic is influencer marketing. So I'm going to go through the thought process, the method, the system we use, what we've done previously, and what we're going to be doing in April. Then in a future video, I can report back on the results. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit more about our progress in April. So you can see on the store, on the screen in front of you, that April is not looking as good as we thought it would be. If you remember, we did about 5.2k pounds in March, and I was aiming for 10k dollars in April, which would have been about 8k pounds. Currently we're only on 2.8k, and we're on the 19th of April, so not great. Why is that? We've seen Facebook ads, we've been spending, but we haven't quite nailed it. We probably were a bit more successful in March, but don't worry, we're learning a hell of a lot. And so the first video on our Facebook stuff will probably be in a couple of weeks, and by then hopefully we'll get the sales back up and running. So that's probably the main reason for the slowdown. Also, I've been sort of concentrating a little bit more on the Sneeze product, which is the SaaS tool that automates word of mouth that is actually sponsored of this challenge, and less so on the leggings, which is a bit, been slightly neglecting the challenge, but don't worry, I'm back focused now. The other thing I was also expecting, or we were expecting, some large wholesale orders of around £2,000 in value that look like they may not actually close in April. So we'll probably end up doing about the same in April as we did in March, so about 6.5k dollars, which is okay because we've learned a lot and we're making slow progress to that 100k per month journey that we're tracking. So that is progress. Nothing else I wanted to talk about here, so let's jump into the content, and my face is going to disappear now. So I'm just going to just look at this slide design I created for you guys. Awesome. So as you can see, the 19th of April update, Stitch's influencer marketing strategy. Now, what do you mean by influencer marketing? And I think about this stuff quite a lot, like what actually is online marketing. And in reality, when you think about what you're doing when you're marketing something online, it's just simply putting information. You're either paying or you are creating. So you're either paying to put content in front of people, or you're putting content in front of people because you have their trust and permission to already, right? So there are two steps. There is the create the content, which could be a Facebook ad, it could be a blog post, it could be a video. And then it's how you put that in front of people, which defines how much you pay. So it could be paying Facebook to get people's attention. That could be just emailing it to your email list because you already have their attention because they've given it to you. Or that could be getting an influencer, somebody who has an audience of your customer avatar, to share that for you. And in that case, they also create the content as well. But of course, you're either paying them with cash or you're paying them with the product that you hand over. So to summarize, online marketing really is creating information and then either paying or doing or using your time to put that information in front of people that in theory would make people want to buy. And in this case, we're incentivizing people that have an audience of our customer avatar, influencers, to both create and distribute the content that includes your product, which in theory would influence the people that follow them that have their permission to contact to buy the product. And there is a 5-step approach that we've used previously and that has worked well, that gave approximately 150% ROI on the investment, and we'll go into what that investment is shortly. But it's just a 5-step process I'm going to outline on this slide, which is actually really, really simple. You know, I don't think this is it's not like all the nuances you have to learn about the Facebook ad platform or the tracking pixels and everything. I think it's actually very, very basic and very, very quick to start. So first step of 5 is who, and this is really sort of fundamental for any online business. It's really understanding and getting with, having a very intimate understanding of who the person is, who your customer avatar is. And when you have that, when you understand how old they are, where they live, what they're interested in, what they're afraid of, who they respect, who they admire, it will be very easy for you to understand the type of people that they listen to online, the influencer, the person who we're going to reach out to. But as well as this influencer having authority and the permission to advertise, promote to this type of person, you also want this type of person to be aligned with your business avatar. And a business avatar is a little bit lesser known. It's kind of interchangeable for brand. It's the story, it's your cause and your mission. So this influencer, the person who you're going to reach out to, and a little aside is that the most crucial part of the success of the whole process is your influencer selection. We'll talk more about that later. But your influencer that you do select has to be aligned with your customer avatar, has to have an audience of your customer avatar, and also must be aligned or connected somehow to your business avatar. So that's your brand, what your cause and your mission is. And so the way you do this, or the way you start to work out who you should reach out to influence, to work on a deal together, is by really getting a very intense understanding of who your customer avatar is, and then going out looking for people and seeing if they sort of align with your business avatar as well. So let's take an example. With Stitch leggings, I know that our type of person, or our customer avatar, is somebody who wants to wear what they want as opposed to what they should. They don't like conventional fashion. They like they're kind of an outlaw. They're a bit of an outsider. And our business avatar is of course we're on this cause and mission to liberate the modern man from conventional fashion. So that means any influencer, or the best influencers for us, are people that have an audience of that type of person, but also align with that cause and mission, who are a bit sort of unconventional. Another example of a sneeze client is an awesome guy called Ben, who has, his brand is called beastgear.co.uk, and he creates fitness equipment that enable you to beast your goals. So not just reach your goals, but to beast your goals. So there's a very specific type of person who wants to beast their goals. It's that extreme, really hardworking athlete who would use his products. And so his business avatar is all about beasting, not reaching goals, being like extreme. So you can almost start to think in your head about the type of influencer who would be great for Ben. Next, once you have that defined, and number one here is the most highest leverage activity in this whole process is influencer selection. We'll talk about that in one of the other stages. But next is, what is the offer? Now, what are you going to give in exchange for the exposure to their audience? Now, all we've ever done with Stitch so far is free deals. So that's us sending a product, and then in exchange for that, requesting up to 4 photos/videos with us tagged, with us mentioned in the description, and also with a unique discount code to that influencer. So that's what we do. And the reason we're doing that is we're still defining who is the ideal influencer. Once we have this nailed down, we have a profile for the perfect influencer, we know we get great ROI, then we can reach out to people with higher followings and actually invest money in those shout-outs. So currently we'll go through this later, but the highest influencer, or the most followed influencer we've worked with or are about to work with, has 100k followers. So we haven't reached out to anybody with like 5 million because we're not sure if that would work. Maybe it'll cost $200, and then we wouldn't get any sales. So that's how I recommend people start, is by just sending the product. So for us, the landed cost of a pair of leggings is around $10. We probably make just over double that in profit. So for every 1 pair of leggings we send out, for every 2 pairs of leggings we send out, we need approximately 1 sale, right? And so with that level, with between like 10k and 100k, we are usually hitting that every time. Some influencers a bit more, some a bit less, and we'll talk about that in a second. So that is the offer. I recommend starting low without actually paying, and seeing how that performs. 3 is the how. So this comes back to understanding exactly who your customer avatar is. There's no point you reaching out to an influencer, say you're Ben and you're selling the extreme fitness gear, there may not be any point reaching out to an influencer on Pinterest if that is not where your people are. For us with Stitch, we've had great success throughout our whole business career on Instagram, so we only reach out to Instagram influencers. At the moment, it's sort of easier to track. It tags us and it boosts our Instagram profile that we're very focused on as well. So I would look to who the activity that you did in step one, and then focus on a single network where you know your customers exist to start with. And once you say get that working and you run out of influencers, say on Instagram, then you could either see if those influencers are also on other platforms, or if they know anybody on other platforms, and then move to other platforms to scale up. Now, if you people, or if anybody watched the video, the third update from last week, you will understand the importance of systems and outsourcing everything that you could do yourself, but shouldn't be doing yourself, because you should be spending all your time on those higher value tasks. So once you have this process outlined and it's working, you have influencers agreeing to you, you're making sales, then it's very, very important to document that and hand it completely over to somebody else in your team, whether that's a virtual assistant, whether that's somebody in your in-person team, whether that's one of your business partners who's not so good at the product innovation or marketing. Remember, if you as the founder or marketer for an e-commerce store is not spending the majority of your time doing product innovation or growth work, you're wasting your time, and your business is not going to grow as fast as it potentially could. So about 2 years ago, when we started doing this, I outlined the process, I got it working, and then I documented everything that I did, and I handed that over to our virtual assistant manager, who is now managing the whole thing. All I do is ask her or tell her or give her a limit or a target of how many deals we want to do in a month. So systemizing, tracking, and outsourcing is crucially important, but probably the most important step, as I said before, is learning. So the biggest variable in this whole process is your influencer selection, or the most crucial variable is. And so it's so important to make sure that everything is tracked. You can do that with a discount code. You can do that by asking them to tag you, so you can see how many followers you get, although that's not 100% sort of accurate, but it gives you an idea. Is that you learn which are the best types of influencers. So you need to track everything in a spreadsheet. We'll go into that in a second, but you need, with every deal that you do, you need to write feedback, not to the influencer, but you need to write notes, so you understand the type of person who gives you the good ROI. It's definitely a learning process, and you have to keep going and going until you find the perfect type of influencer. So if you are systemizing or outsourcing, it's very, very important to ensure that everything is tracked, so you can link the influencer to the results that they get, and you can write notes about that, so you can learn, or the person who's operating this process can learn and find those better influencers over time. So that is the process. It's understanding who your customer avatar is and your business avatar is, and finding influencers that align with those two. Giving the offer, which for us, and I advise, is just a product at the start in exchange for X amount of photos with a unique discount code. The how is which social network you select, and that's defined by your customer avatar. Systemizing and outsourcing and tracking, so that you can then move on to other customer acquisition techniques while this is nailed. And then finally, the most important part is learning, so you can improve that influencer selection to get better ROIs with every deal that you do. Now let's look a little bit more at our process. So as I mentioned, everything is tracked, and I haven't actually ever gone into the spreadsheet before today, because I just communicate with our manager over Slack. And so this is a list of every influencer that our virtual assistant manager has reached out to this month for this campaign. And so the goal was to reach out to 100 and set 20 pairs out. And so you can see some of the influencers that we're working with in this campaign. So 105k followers, not amazing engagement though. 30k followers, but pretty awesome engagement here. And you'll note that they're all of these people are kind of like they're kind of extreme fitness yoga teachers, because we believe and we know from our previous work with influencers that these are the type of people that convert. And so, but we're still refining. We're still going to track, obviously, all of the results that we get from this campaign, and then we're going to learn more about who the perfect influencer is. And everything is tracked in here. You can see that this person, we've sent them this pair of leggings, and then in the future we'll be tracking exactly how many followers we got on that day or around that post, all of the orders we got through with the specific discount code that was sent to this person. And so we can learn and get those better ROIs with every single deal that we do. So there we go. That is, back to the slides, the fourth update in the SSS 100K challenge, our influencer marketing strategy. Now, if anybody has any questions about the process or anything else that we've covered so far, simply add a comment either in the blog post or below the YouTube video, and I will answer them all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week.